I believe that offense is the best defense when it comes to a game like GTA Online, and this is best demonstrated by the wide array of weaponized vehicles that you can purchase. It's actually pretty simple here. If you blow up your enemy before he shoots at you, then you're fully protected and never have to bother with armor. Although some of the weaponized vehicles are also armored too, so you can tank a few hits if the other guy decides to shoot back. And in this video, I'll tell you everything you need to know about the top 15 weaponized vehicles that everyone should own in GTA Online, how fast they are, what weapons they can carry, how good they are at dealing with griefers, and more. Of course, this isn't a comprehensive list because we have so many weaponized vehicles in this game, but these are just going to be some of the top picks that you can get your hands on. The first vehicle on today's list, and the one I find myself using quite often, is the weaponized Tampa. This thing is an armory on wheels, and it carries a roof-mounted minigun turret along with front-facing missile launchers for any kind of destructive work that you might need it to do, whether you're punching through barricades, mowing down mercenaries, fighting other players in PvP, or even doing heist setups and other missions. These two weapons will be enough to carry you through everything that the game throws your way. And when other players try to sneak up on you, you can always greet them with the integrated mortar system that shoots explosives at anyone tailing you from behind. With a simple upgrade, the top-mounted minigun turret will be upgraded to a dual gun setup, which is also fully traversable, so you can rotate it in any direction that you want and deal with threats in a 360-degree radius. Next up is the weaponized Ignis, and this is honestly better than the weaponized Tampa in several different aspects, chief among which is the increased speed and bullet protection. While the Tampa can be a bit of a handful due to its muscle car heritage, the Ignis has plenty of grip, superior braking, and can accelerate super hard out of corners with its all-wheel drive and powerful engine, and it also comes with bullet-resistant glass on the front windshield as well as the side windows. Plus, the rear is completely bulletproof as there is a giant metal plate attached to the roof turret. The turret on the Ignis does a similar amount of damage as the one on the Tampa, but this one doesn't have a full 360-degree traverse, and the elevation angle is also rather limited, so you won't be able to hit people who are up super high in buildings. However, repositioning your car is going to be a lot easier with the Ignis, and with HSW upgrades, it can hit 145 miles an hour, which makes it much better for getting from point A to point B if you're being pursued by enemies. Number 3 is the Speedo Custom, and I feel this is a very underrated vehicle as most people just treat it as the nightclub delivery van, but if you get down into the basement and customize it, you'll see that it can accommodate armor plating, a roof-mounted machine gun turret, and explosive proximity mines, turning this into one of the best weaponized vehicles in the game. It's already pretty fast for a minivan, handles really well, plus you can fit a plow up front to shove traffic out of your way as you go around town blowing stuff up. Sadly, you can't use it in missions, but for general free roam PvP stuff, it's still pretty good. I'd say it's even better than the weaponized Tampa and Ignis because unlike those two, the Speedo Custom can actually tank explosives. In fact, it can tank up to 7 RPGs and homing missiles if a player is sitting inside, and you can also carry your squad in the back, so the Speedo Custom is basically a pseudo APC. The Future Shock ZR380 also makes it onto my list here today simply for being one of the coolest looking vehicles in the entire game. And while you do need an arena workshop to fully customize this car, it is worth it as the ZR380 is fully bulletproof from the front as well as the rear, so absolutely nothing can sneak past those metal armor plates. And the only way you're going to get shot while sitting in this car is if someone has the skills to aim through the tiny slits in those side windows, which will be quite hard to do if you're zooming around at 142 miles an hour. Yes, the Future Shock ZR380 can hit that speed despite being a regular car, no HSW upgrades or rocket boosting here, and it can also tank 4 homing missiles, so you have time to react and treat your enemies to those dual front mounted 50 cal machine guns, which can be swapped out for dual laser guns if you want to look even cooler. The damage isn't spectacular, but with some persistence you can easily kill NPCs, players, unarmored vehicles, and if they get within melee range, the front mounted mega blade of death will send them flying, and by the time they land they will be nothing more than a corpse. At number 5, we have the venerable Sparrow, and this does have a significant buy-in cost of $2.2 million just for the Casaca, and then a further $1.8 million for the helicopter, but in exchange, you're getting possibly the best grinding tool in the entire game. As for the weaponized aspect of this vehicle, it can be upgraded for $240,000 to carry an infinite supply of homing missiles, which may not be the best in terms of tracking, but you have a never-ending supply of these missiles, and with the countermeasures equipped, enemies will have a really hard time bringing your little helicopter down as you run circles around them with your maxed out speed and agility. The Deluxo is another must-have in my opinion, if you're going for weaponized vehicles of course, and while it's one of the most expensive vehicles on today's list at $5.7 million, remember what you're getting for that price. A flying car with tier 1 homing missiles, as well as the fastest traverse speed of any flying vehicle in the game. Now let me explain that, because when you're flying a normal aircraft like a helicopter or fighter jet and someone's on your tail, you need to turn around and get a lock on them. Usually this takes a while depending on how fast or how maneuverable your aircraft is. But with the Deluxo, you can simply hover in place and spin around front to back like a Beyblade in almost no time. This means that while the Deluxo is actually quite slow for a flying vehicle, it's surprisingly hard to ambush or flank if the driver knows what they're doing. And because its homing missiles are tied for the best in the game alongside the Ruiner 2000, not even a Rayu can escape your wrath if you get a lock on with it. The Tory is going to be a tier above the Deluxo in my personal list of amazing weaponized vehicles because while it can dish out boatloads of homing missiles just like the Deluxo, it can also take returning fire without immediately turning into a burning scrap heap. Sure, it can't fly, but the rocket boost allows you to pull off some amazing trick shots on unsuspecting enemies, even flying ones like the Oppressor Mark II, and while the homing missiles on the Toreador also aren't as good as the tier 1 missiles on the Deluxo, they're still really good overall, better than anything you get on aircraft, and way better than the ones you're firing from the homing launcher. At number 8, we have the Rayu, aka the King of the Skies in GTA Online. It's a VTOL stealth aircraft with the highest top speed of any vehicle in the game, and if that doesn't immediately tell you how big of a threat this jet can be, let me remind you that it comes with an explosive autocannon for up-close dogfights and homing missiles for every other situation. The F-160 Rayu can also tank 3 homing missiles and 2 shots from a heavy sniper armed with explosive rounds, so it's a lot more durable than most people give it credit for, and once you master the vertical thrusters on this thing, it can float in the air like a kite, and also pull off some insane physics-defying stunts. The Akula is basically going to be a stealth helicopter version of the Rayu, and while it has a slight firepower disadvantage compared to the FH-1 Hunter, I'd recommend this over the Hunter for solo players because unless you have a passenger in the Hunter, you can't really use those excellent co-pilot autocannons. The Akula is also going to be more griefer-proof as it can go off the radar and it drops bombs and shoots unguided missile barrages against enemies with lock-on jammers. It's also armored, which means it can tank 3 homing missiles or 3 RPGs and up to 7 explosive rounds from a heavy sniper Mark II. Another vehicle I highly recommend for you guys to use is the HVY APC, which has been one of the most popular armored vehicles in the game ever since it was introduced with the gun running update back in 2017. While the APC is really good at tanking damage, it can also dish out some serious punishment if you hop over to the passenger seat, because that little turret you see up there actually contains the same gun as the one on the Rhino tank. And in case you didn't know, tank rounds are the deadliest source of explosive damage in GTA Online. The order is homing missiles at the bottom, then RPGs, and finally at the top we have tank rounds. So for example, a Night Shark that normally requires 9 RPGs to destroy can be destroyed in just 5 tank shots from a Rhino or an APC. If someone tries to shoot back, the APC can tank 8 homing missiles and 8 RPGs, so don't think it's a sitting duck either. Plus, you can swap out the stock weapon for a SAM battery if you want to take on multiple lightly armored targets, as it has an extremely fast firing rate and holds a whopping 60 unguided rockets. The Khanjali up next is an absolute money pit, but I'd be lying if I said this isn't one of the coolest vehicles in the game. I mean, it is a futuristic light tank that can mount a railgun on top, and honestly, you don't get any cooler than that. If you have a squad, the firepower with this thing packs its main gun, plus the grenade launcher and machine gun, and it's absolutely insane. You don't have to worry about bullets because the Khanjali is 100% bulletproof from all angles. Not even a fly can sneak in when you're buttoned up inside this 30-ton hulking behemoth of steel and tungsten. It isn't the most heavily armored vehicle in the game, as it can be destroyed with 8 RPGs, same as the APC, plus it's super slow with a top speed of just 42 miles an hour, and you also need a facility to own this $3.8 million tank, which means you spend a further $2 million if you just want a decent location as well, but it might just be worth it if you want to flex on some newbies. Most of them who don't know any better will probably just abandon the fight as soon as you pull up in this tank. And now, for a rather unorthodox pick, which you don't see anywhere else, the Thruster. This is possibly the most overlooked weaponized vehicle in the entire game, simply because most people think it's a regular old jetpack and never really give it a second look. Either that, or they simply go for the Oppressor Mark II, which is a better version of the Thruster in every single way. However, if you already have wasted your money by buying a facility, you might as well go the extra mile and add a Thruster to the mix, because it can land and take off from places no helicopter can access. Plus, it has homing missiles, and it can hit a speed of 127 miles an hour, which is almost as fast as the Oppressor Mark II. As well as that, it has countermeasures, so it isn't as easy to destroy as you might think, and that's a huge plus for this thing. The Vigilante is going to be one of my favorites, and I've recommended this vehicle multiple times before because unlike most other weaponized vehicles, you can actually use it in heists and contact missions, even in finales like the Dr. Dre contract for example, and it has tier 1 homing missiles just like the Deluxo and Ruiner 2000. Plus it has the most powerful rocket boost of any car in the game. Handling on roads is kind of meh, but you won't really care since you can simply push every single car out of the way with your 7-ton Batmobile. For number 14, we have the Forbidden Broomstick, aka the Oppressor Mark II. I can't really say anything about this vehicle that you don't already know by now, but even after all the nerfs to its missile tracking and the price increase to a pitiful $8 million, it's still the best vehicle for grinding and free roam PvP in the game. The homing missiles are still overall really good, and the Oppressor can outturn most aircraft. Plus, it comes with its own countermeasures, albeit really high cooldown ones, and it can be summoned right next to you whenever you need a new one. So yeah, if you can afford it, get yourself an Oppressor Mark II right now. And finally, we have the Ruiner 2000, but I'm not talking about the one you can buy via the in-game website. No, this is the one you get if you start the fully loaded VIP work mission. Now, if you've only driven the regular Ruiner 2000, you might have noticed that it is pretty good. Best homing missiles in the game, a jump and glide feature, and it's also very fast. But there's one glaring weakness: explosive resistance. The Ruiner 2000 can be taken out with a single RPG or homing missile. Well, guess what? The one you get in the fully loaded mission can tank just as many RPGs as the Night Shark, and it also has a missile lock-on jammer. And it also has unlimited missiles, because it's basically Kit from Knight Rider. And if you ask me, the jump is way better for targeting flying targets than a rocket boost, so it's also better than the Toreador or Scramjet if you want to kill Oppressors and Deluxos. But there you have it. Those are my top 15 picks for the best weaponized vehicles in GTA Online. I know this is a pretty hotly debated topic, and everyone has their personal favorites, so let me know if you guys have any others you would have replaced with vehicles on my list, and also let me know your reasons down in the comments section below. I definitely recommend choosing a nice mix of protection and offensive capability early on for players who want some weaponized vehicles, and with that you can build up those skills that you need for PvP. Otherwise, it's probably no fun getting blown up every single time you bring out your shiny new Deluxo or Ruiner 2000, so definitely brush up on that. As always, that's it for today's video. Make sure to drop a like on it if you guys enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to find more GTA Online content just like this. Also, make sure to check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv for GTA Online money grinding live streams. We'd love to have you guys get involved with the community over on there. And I also upload YouTube shorts and TikToks every single day for you guys to enjoy if you want some short form rapid fire content as well. Anyways, have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next GTA 5 online video. Adios amigos.